Hey everyone, today we are diving into one of LEGO's most discussed new releases, LEGO City Set 60473, The City Tower. This set has sparked a lot of debate in the LEGO community. Some fans say it's suffering from a full blown identity crisis. I mean, yes, this set has got a construction site with a working crane, a police station, a police car, metro train compartment, a fire station, a compact fire car, a skate ramp to perform the stunts, a living quarters, and if that's not enough, there is a spaceship with a launch pad as well. And all of this jammed into the same tower. And yes, there are pigeons too. But the big question is this set really as chaotic as people claim? Or is it a good attempt by LEGO at creative storytelling? I will break it down section by section, from build quality to play features, and by the end, you will have a clear idea if this is a must buy or one to skip. To fully understand or to appreciate this set, it helps to know a bit about the storyline that inspired the set. Lego City No Limits YouTube series. Presently, season 3 is streaming with 3 episodes aired, and the spotlight is on the Brickles family. It's a vibrant mix of action, comedy, and skateboarding fun. You have got Just Jason, a regular kid who loves skating, his mother, who's an astronaut, his father, Ted, who's a master builder, sister Drea, who is obsessed with spiders and also has a pet snake, and last but not the least, Grandma Lena, a top cop in the city. This very tower is Lego's way of bringing Brickle's family home and Adventure HQ from the animated world into the real buildable Lego universe. And honestly, it's an ambitious attempt as well. Let's take a look at box and packaging. This set is aimed at ages 8 plus, includes 1941 pieces, 7 minifigures, and retails for 210 US dollars. The box is a lift-off lid type with folding lines for easy storage. This is super handy compared to traditional boxes. Inside, you get 16 paper bags with bricks, plastic bags with oversized parts, a large piece used for skate ramp, 8 instruction booklets, and one sticker sheet well protected between those books. The price is at 10.8 cents per piece, which is high for a city set. But there are plenty of rare and large pieces, so the price might even be justified. Let's take a deeper look at each section and the build process. Alright, let's start with bag 1. This contains parts to build the police car and minifigure of Grandma Lena. The car is 6 studs wide, built into a single piece of chassis, and uses a printed tile on the hood. So, no stickers, which is a win. The roof pops off very easily, and inside there is room for one police officer in the front seat, and behind that there is a bit of extra space. But honestly, that space feels wasted. And that brings me to what I don't like so much in this. There are visible holes where the driver sits, which looks like little unfinished. There is also no hook or clip to secure the handcuffs, so it just falls apart. This car could have easily gone from decent to really good with just a few simple additions, like a proper chair piece in the front seat and maybe a clip for the handcuffs. That's all it needed to be perfect. Bag 2 contains the parts for building a compact fire extinguishing vehicle and a firefighter minifigure. This one is also 6 studs wide and uses a single piece of chassis. So, similar to Police Car, it's sturdy and holds up well during the play. Visually, this car is a winner. It uses few rare parts, and we really haven't seen many compact fire vehicles in the Lego City before. So, this is a fresh and welcome addition to the lineup. But again, it's the little things that hold it back. A couple of one by one glossy tiles to cover up these visible studs would have cleaned up the look. A longer string for the hose would have added so much more to the playability. And like the police car, a seat for the driver to cover up the holes inside would have made the interior feel more complete. Again, it's the little things that are missing. Bags 3 and 4 are where things get pretty interesting. They contain the parts to build the metro train compartment and the train driver minifigure. Bag 3 focuses on the chassis and main structure of the train, and I really like the part selection here. It's a smart mix of elements to create the frame and shape the body of the train. One eye catching thing here is the graffiti style windows, with super fun nods to Lego City, Space, Ninjago, and even Rocket Racer themes. The final compartment looks bold and vibrant, and it easily is one of the more visually exciting parts of this set. And just to geek out a little, I recently watched season 3 episodes of No Limits, and guess what? Rocket Racer is back. I really hope LEGO leans into this and releases more of Rocket Racer themed minifigs and cars. And considering the nostalgia, I'm sure many would love to see that. Even I'll be super happy. Bag 5 contains the pieces to build the spaceship and includes the astronaut minifigure. This build makes great use of large elements, rare pieces, and sleek angled pieces to create a sharp, polished design. The wing structure is really nice, and the cockpit opens up to reveal a printed touchscreen. It is fully minifigure compatible. There is also a rare hatch that opens to show a battery setup, which is a nice touch. Visually, the spaceship looks fantastic, and that fume detailing at the back is a real highlight. It's also incredibly sturdy, perfect for kids who want to swoosh it around without worrying about bits falling off. In terms of decoration, the side markings are stickers, but the dashboard screen and the space logo tile are printed, which adds some nice feel to the build. It's not overdone, but the design is solid. That said, I really don't understand the decision to leave visible holes at the bottom once again. It's in police car, fire car, and also in the spaceship. It's not rocket science to cover those gaps and deliver a cleaner finish. I think Lego should do better here. Bag 6 includes the parts to build the police station, or at least what Lego markets as one. The build features a wanted poster, a direct reuse from set 60455 Police Motorcycle Chase. There are a few rooftop tools as construction is ongoing next door, and it has rolling shutter that open and close smoothly. There are large open windows and back is open as well. But here is the problem. Calling this a police station is definitely a stretch. In reality, it's more of a police car garage, and even calling it that feels like giving too much credit. There are no glass for the windows, the interior is completely bare, and there is no space for minifigures to move around or store any tools. Lego really missed a trick here. With just a few additional things, this could have been a fantastic modular garage, the kind you would want to integrate into a larger police HQ or a city layout. As it stands, it feels more like a placeholder, a structure that looks fine on the outside but not much on the inside. Moving ahead, Bag 7 contains the parts for base and central pillar of the crane, while Bag 8 completes the crane's upper structure and includes stud minifigure. The build makes use of large structural elements and a few rare parts. The build process is straightforward but is also quite satisfying. Once assembled, the crane looks fantastic, tall, sturdy, and packed with functionality. It features a 360-degree turntable rotation and works seamlessly. It also includes a crank mechanism, a knob that controls smooth pulley system to raise or lower construction materials. The build also includes a compact operator's cabin with room for one minifigure. The crane arm extends as well. This section of the city tower feels complete and thoughtfully executed. It's packed with playability, looks great from every angle, and is structurally sound enough for both display and rough play. Even the string provided is long enough, and I could not find any faults with this. Bags 9 and 10 are used to build the metro track and its supporting arch. The arch is tall and wide enough for most Lego City trains to pass through. It includes two straight track pieces and two ramp pieces and uses the new 2025 upgraded track elements. Simple to build, but it looks clean and integrates well with the city layout. That said, one noticeable omission is the lack of door or staircase next to the arch to access the living space above. But we will talk more about that in some time. Coming to the Bag 11, it contains parts to build a fire station, or more accurately, a fire vehicle garage. Just like the police station, this is essentially a small bay meant to park one compact fire car that can be dispatched as and when needed. Calling it a fire station is again a stretch. It includes a rolling shutter that looks good in red and white, and it also functions smoothly. However, once again, there are no glass to the windows, no interior space for minifigures to walk, no tools or equipments inside, making it feel more like a decorative shell than a true structure. However, there is enough room to fully park the fire vehicle inside. There are a few exterior details, including a white area speaker, a fire hose, and a burger advertisement sticker, which add some visual interest. But overall, this build, much like the police garage, also feels like a placeholder structure, nice from the outside but hollow on substance. Bag 12 includes the pieces to build Grandma Lena's space, and it is one section of the Brickles family home. The front facade features arch windows, plant elements, and clever use of candle pieces as decorative pillars. All of this give it a quaint and welcoming look. Inside, the workspace is thoughtfully furnished. There is a desk with table lamp, a computer showing the wanted thief's information using a sticker, and a nicely built sofa chair. You will also find a table with drawer, a sticker tile showing a Christmas family portrait of the Brickles family, and a metro ticket tile. All these small touches add life to the space. According to me, the big miss here is that Lego has chosen not to add an internal staircase connecting this room to Jason's room above. Also, Lego has completely omitted the living room, balcony, bathroom, and kitchen sections from the Brickles family home. If that is not enough, they have also omitted the door and staircase leading to the living quarters. What's disappointing for me is the fact that Lego had clear references from their own No Limits series, but they still choose to leave out all these key features. I just don't know what to say. I'm disappointed. Bag 13 includes parts to build the Just Jason minifigure, the main section of the skate ramp, and the tunnel slide. While the ramp uses various green elements, all listed as lime, there is a noticeable shade inconsistency that clearly stands out. The tunnel slide and the skate ramp are attached on the either side of Grandma's room. The small camera is attached to the ramp later. However, the tunnel slide is disappointingly short, far too small for Jason to realistically perform stunts or for it to function as a proper chute for construction materials. However, if you position it differently, it can somewhat make sense as a construction chute. In the No Limit series, it is clearly longer going all the way down. The reference was right there, yet Lego cut corners once again, affecting both play and accuracy. Also, this attachment is quite flimsy and breaks apart easily during the play. Bag 14 and 15 contain pieces to build Jason's room and complete the skate ramp. It also includes his sister Dria's minifigure. The room has a gaming setup in the center for Dria and Jason to play together. There is not much space inside as the construction and repairs are ongoing on the other side. A crate is included to send construction materials down the slide as a chute, which is an intelligent addition. The sofa is temporarily moved near the door, intentionally blocking access to the skate ramp, a nice touch of realism considering the construction. The skate ramp itself is a faithful recreation from the No Limit series and looks good. Finishing details on the exterior are really nice. Leaf and flower bud pieces are used as plants. There is a printed AC vent. Gun elements are cleverly used as lights. And there is a 1932 sticker tile referencing Lego's founding year. There are also two new pigeon figures, three blue Lego bricks that look good on the building, and the printed no limit signage on the side. All of these little details add depth to this section, and overall, this part of exterior looks really charming. And coming to the last pack 16, it has parts to build the spaceship launch pad and it also adds finishing touches to the roof. The antenna design stands out with wand pieces being used creatively as spikes. There are batteries placed next to the ladder and it uses a printed piece. There is a movable walkway for the astronaut to board or exit the spaceship. This platform looks neat and compact. However, having a launchpad on top of City Tower isn't realistic. This is Lego City No Limits. Anything goes and anything is fun and anything is possible here. Coming to the minifigure lineup, first up we have Just Jason's minifigure. He comes with skates, a helmet, and an extra hairpiece. He has no alternate facial expression, and the minifigure is not exclusive to this set. Second, we have Dria Brickle with lavender jacket torso, dark azure medium legs, black skirt, and a pet snake. She does have alternate faces. One expression with a smile and silver braces is unique. Her torso and head are exclusive to this set, but unfortunately, the snake is dark tan instead of the accurate green as seen in the series. Third, we have Jenny Brickle minifigure that features a white spacesuit, dark azure backpack, standard helmet, alternate hairpiece, and an alternate facial expression. Standard astronaut parts are reused here, so nothing is exclusive about Jenny the astronaut. Fourth, we have Ted Brickle minifigure with dark orange belt and a red helmet. This exact figure appears in Yellow Bulldozer set. While others got alternate hairpieces, Ted did not, which is a mess. He does have an alternate facial expression though. Fifth, we have Grandma Lena minifigure. Her head and torso are exclusive to this set, and the torso printing is really good. She also comes with handcuffs accessory and an alternate facial expression. This minifigure is the standout among all the seven from this set. Sixth, we have a female train driver minifigure with a common torso and a common leg and a black ponytail. Lastly, we have firefighter minifigure with black jacket, printed legs featuring reflective stripes, a neon yellow helmet with transclear visor. Again, no new or unique elements in this minifigure. It's common. So we are almost at the end of video and we have gone through the parts, builds and every minifigure. Now it's time to zoom out. Here are my final thoughts. There is no doubt that this set is a mixed bag. If you're buying this set for a kid, the set has excellent play value with all the cars, train, crane, spaceship, living area, and all the minifigures from the series. It's an ideal birthday or a holiday gift that makes building Lego a fun journey over multiple days. But for a seasoned Lego city builder, this set needs a lot of modifications to be integrated into the city. The design compromises, missing stairs, half baked choices mean that the set does not live up to its full potential, especially considering the $210 price point. Lego had the chance to make this an iconic set as all the right references were already there in the series, yet they chose to cut it short. Am I disappointed? Yes. But do I regret buying this set? I would say not that much, considering my son really enjoyed this set very much. So that's about that. So if this review helped, please hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more in depth Lego reviews. Thank you for watching and see you all in the next one.